will always maintain that protest is a universal right by citizens. And it is also embedded in the 1999 Constitution as amended. And as a progressive youth leader, I would always call on Nigerian youth, to explore peaceful demonstration to express their displeasure over the state of economy. And so far so good. The Niger Delta region has been relatively peaceful even when these protests are being carried out. It is quite unfortunate that in some parts of the north, the protest has gone out of control. And I condemn it in its entirety. And I believe that is part of the reason why the federal government is very apprehensive over protestations, because they believe that it might spiral and go out of control. And infrastructure, state infrastructures, and the economy will further deplete. And there is no reasonable government that would want its citizens to go into protest. They will do everything within their powers to ensure that the issues are discussed through the table of dialogue. And I think that option is also not completely ruled out. But what is more important at this point in time is for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, who is also the father of protest in Nigeria. He has led series of non-violent protests in this country to demand for democracy to come into this country during his Nadeko days. Today is a beneficiary of that struggle. He understands the pains of the Nigerian people better than any other president that have manned the office of the president of this country. And therefore, he should not take the plight of the Nigerian people, it should not treat the plight of the Nigerian people with kid gloves. It has gotten to a point where he should look at his economic team and discuss the issues extensively and bring in, measures that will ameliorate the current economic realities that the Nigerian people are faced with. Nobody is calling for regime change. Anybody who is calling for regime change, the security agencies are out there to fish out such persons and deal with them according to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But to harass and intimidate defenseless, peaceful protesters who are only calling for the right things to be done in this country is not something that even Mr. President would encourage. And therefore, I am equally appealing to the protesters to remain peaceful, not to be provoked into taking laws into their hands. If you do that, the essence of the protest has been defeated. Protestation is a right that cannot be taken by anybody. But while you are protesting, also ensure that you don't allow hoodlums to infiltrate your means and hijack the protests and give room for the federal government or anybody who is opposed to the protest to justify their reasons for this protest not to be held in the first place. So far so good. The Niger Delta is relatively peaceful even when these protests are going on. I'm sure Mr. President is getting briefs from security agencies and including from his aides of the current state of affairs in the country. You can see that people are already dying as a result of this protest. And we condemn the killings of innocent Nigerians as a result of this protest. And I am calling on Mr. President to, as a matter of urgency, address this nation. It is long overdue for him to address it. He should not be talking to Nigerians through his proxies and political aides. while the efforts of his aides and his appointees in reaching out to clergymen, in reaching out to traditional rulers, youth groups, politicians, to shelve the idea of going into protest, you can also see that it is not working. The people want to hear their president speak. After all, Nigerians voted him into power. He was able to convince Nigerians why he is the best man for the job. And so now that his policies is not yielding the desired result, and the country is currently passing through serious hardship, he should address the country. He should address the country. He should sympathize and empathize with the Nigerian people, with what they are going through. Most of these politicians don't even care because they are not being affected directly. Their bills are being paid by taxpayers' money, so they are not even feeling the impact of what the average Nigerian is going through. The only thing the Nigerian politician who is in government is not paying for, it is the head that is breathing. Every other thing is being paid by the state, by taxpayers' money, so they are not feeling the brunt, the excruciating economic hardship that the Nigerian people are going through. So he should not listen to them. Let him take a retrospect and address this nation. The country wants to hear their president speak. He should be able to calm down frayed nerves. There is no policy that cannot be reversed. We have said that this fuel subsidy removal was wrongly done. It should have been removed progressively. The total deregulation of the oil sector is not in the best interest of the country. How can it deregulate the oil sector when the refineries in the country are not even working? If the refineries are working and you deregulate completely the oil and gas sector, then we wouldn't have been feeling the harsh effect of that policy the way Nigerians are feeling it right now. Our economy is dependent on oil, and this oil revenue is being gotten through foreign exchange, and it has affected every facet of the lives and livelihood of the Nigerian people, and that is why people are protesting. So Mr. President should listen to the plight of the Nigerian people and address this nation. If it will take him to sacrifice by downsizing his cabinet, he should do so. If it will take him to reverse back the oil subsidy removal, he should do it. After all, when Goodluck Jonathan partially deregulated the oil sector, Nigerians protested. The president listened to Nigerians and that policy was reversed. We also saw the Christopher Kolade committee that was managing the funds that was coming out from the fuel subsidy removal. We saw the brilliant programs that was initiated, the Shopee program, the availability of buses that was transporting goods and services in this country. It ameliorated the harsh economic effects of that fuel subsidy removal. But in this case, 1 year after the removal of fuel subsidy, our refineries are not working. Even when the Minister for State Petroleum had assured Nigerians that by July, the Port Harcourt refinery would work. So we want to equally hear from the Minister for State Petroleum, why is the Port Harcourt refinery not working? Even Dangote refinery that has been put on ground, you could see the politics NNPC is playing with the Dangote refinery. It is not too good for our country. It is not too hard to demand for social justice from our president. It is not too big to also demand from the president to reverse some of his policies that is hitting hard on the economy. So that is my position, and I believe strongly that the president will also listen to wise counsel and will quickly address this nation so that we can put this protest behind us and move forward.